Hi, my name is Garima Gupta.
Hi, my name is Yash Gupta.
We would like to introduce our cousins, Maya.
And Ari Gupta.
Does anybody know what Gupta means? It means unknown.
Instead of finding the value of X, let's find the value of Gupta.
I'd just like to quickly thank everyone for coming here and joining us. I know that we all wish we were gathered here today under happier circumstances, but it's so nice to look out and see so many loving faces here. Over the past little while, I've been thinking about what I want to talk about, how I can convey what Professor Chetan P. Gupta, or to me, Dadaji, meant to me. It's hard to recall just a specific memory with Dadaji. He was always there when I went to see him and my grandmother, my Dadima. He would calmly peel fresh almonds and pop them into a katori, or just sit there watching the news with a big bowl of honey bunches of oats. It was always comfortable to be around him. I felt very at home there, just sitting next to him, smiling but not even talking. He had his own way of doing things, always. From cooking to traveling, he took a different approach than most. He talked to people his own way, too, always calmly listening, so calmly that you would get completely wrapped up in yourself and your stories when he would suddenly interject some short, quick, but meaningful insight. It took me a couple times to get this, though. When I was younger and he tried to join me in conversation, I completely ran over his point with my 90 miles a minute talking. It wasn't until I was older that I started to realize how good his points were sometimes. I was studying for a test once while over at their house when he said, it is good to take a break from studying, to come do something active. Clear your head, get the blood flowing, and be calm. Let's all go on a walk. I nodded vaguely and but I didn't go. I had studying to do. Later, on the car ride home, my parents cheerfully chatted and my dog slept on my lap, and I stressed about the test. And when we stepped out of the car into the chilly evening air, I realized it may have been a good idea to have listened to Dadaji and to have taken a walk. Clear my head, get the blood flowing, and be calm, as he had been saying all along. After that, I tried to really stop and think when Dadaji spoke to me, because to me, anything he said was usually much more intellectual than I would ever think at first glance. But Dadaji also had a lighthearted side in his own way. One silly little thing that Dadaji used to do really stuck in my head, and that was how he interacted with my dog. When we first started bringing our little poodle Shpai over to Dadima and Dadaji's house, neither of them were all too sold on him. But slowly, he won over both of their hearts. Now, most of my immediate family has no issue talking to the dog. We'll talk to him in a cutesy little voice, asking if he wants a cookie or telling him he's a good dog just for existing. And Dadaji talked to Shpai as well. But he actually, in some miraculous manner, carried out quick, quiet little conversations with the dog. He would just speak to him normally, asking, "Oh, yes, how are you today, Shpai?" And Shpai would wag or bark and follow him around. They had some sort of mutual understanding that could make anyone smile who saw it. When we lost Dadaji, it came as quite a shock. I knew that there were risks involving the things he was going through, but it was very hard, and still is hard, to imagine Dadaji gone. He was a key piece of the puzzle that makes up life. Sometimes easily overlooked, but when missing, the entire image is ruined. But I know that through memories and undying love, we can always keep that perfectly completed puzzle in our hearts. Thank you.
Hello? Okay. Whenever I visited my Dadaji, he would ask the same questions. So, how's school? Followed up by, how's tennis? His constant interest in my academic and athletic pursuits showed a propensity for helping others, which was also illustrated in his chosen career as a professor of mathematics. A very accomplished professor, as evidented by the 100+ papers you see arranged on the steps below. But Dadaji never boasted to me about his papers. In fact, I only learned of the scale of his work after he passed. Dadaji, to me, was a humble caregiver who was also there to provide me with whatever I needed. The past 2 summers, Dadaji, Dadima, and I spent together in Reno so that I could participate in tennis tournaments and practices, while my mother, father, and sister could travel to Colorado, where my sister attends a summer camp. During these summers, my Dadaji was the one to take me back and forth to tennis practices, tournaments, always reminding me to wear sunscreen and to bring water. After practice, he would always ask, "How were the games today?" And I would reply with a short account, and he would offer his occasional advice. When I had a tournament on the weekend, I would call my friends to practice during the week, and Dadaji would bring me to the courts so that my friend and I could play. On one particular week, none of my friends could help me, as they were either out of town or committed to another activity, and I had a tournament on Saturday. Although he had not played in more than 20 years, Dadaji decided to take me out to the courts, where he fed me balls as practice. For an hour, he hit balls to me in his khaki pants, never complaining of heat or fatigue. The subsequent day, I attended the tournament with my Dadaji, where he watched my matches and encouraged me as I played. I didn't win the tournament, but Dadaji told me that I would continue to improve and not to worry. During the school year, Dadaji would always help my sister and me with any mathematics we had. Many times, my sister and I would call my Dadaji with a late-night math question, which he would always happily answer and explain to us. He always seemed to have time to work with us and cared about our well-being. I'm sure he would be pleased to know that I have finished another successful school year and that tennis practice has just started again, but already I am improving. Thank you.